Yoko Ono. To some, she's a groundbreaking artist and peace activist. To others, she's the most controversial figure ever associated with the Beatles. Accused of breaking up the band, clashing with Paul McCartney, and controlling John Lennon's legacy. But how much of this is fact, and how much is myth? Today, we're diving deep into the most talked about and misunderstood moments of Yoko Ono's life with John Lennon and her influence over the Beatles world. In 1981, just months after John Lennon's tragic assassination, Yoko released an album titled Season of Glass. Its cover featured John's blood-splattered glasses next to a glass of water on their windowsill. Was this a raw, honest reflection of grief, or a shocking case of exploitation? Critics were divided. Supporters saw it as a bold, avant-garde statement about loss. Others saw it as painfully graphic and emotionally manipulative. This moment marked the first of many times Yoko's actions blurred the line between art and controversy. The songwriting credit battle with Paul McCartney. Even decades after Lennon's death, Yoko fought to have the famous Lennon-McCartney songwriting credits reversed on certain songs, claiming John should be named first. Paul McCartney, still active and proud of his work, objected. When McCartney reversed the order to McCartney-Lennon on Back in the US, Ono threatened legal action. This wasn't just about names on paper. This was a power struggle over legacy. Clashes with Julian Lennon. Yoko's relationship with John's first son, Julian Lennon, has long been strained. After John's passing, Julian found himself having to buy back personal items of his father's at auctions. Letters, guitars, even memorabilia intended for Julian were sold, with proceeds going to Yoko. Julian later said, "I had to buy back Dad's stuff with my own money. It was humiliating." The inheritance battle painted a painful picture of fractured family dynamics in the Lennon estate. In the studio with the Beatles. During the Beatles' recording sessions in 1968 and 1969, Yoko was often present in the studio, sometimes literally seated next to John as the band worked. Paul McCartney later admitted it was uncomfortable. George Harrison was visibly annoyed during the sessions for Let It Be, and Ringo remained neutral but wary. While John insisted on her presence, it disrupted the group's chemistry. For a band used to working tightly together, this new dynamic created tension. 2. Lennon's legacy and vodka ads. In 2008, Yoko licensed John Lennon's image for an Absolute vodka ad. The campaign used an image of Lennon's face with the tagline, "In an absolute world." To fans, it was jarring. John, a man who once preached peace and anti-materialism, now used to sell alcohol? Critics accused Ono of cashing in on his legacy. Supporters argued that she had the right to manage his image as she saw fit. The Chuck Berry incident. In a 1972 performance on The Mike Douglas Show, John and Yoko jammed with rock legend Chuck Berry. All was going well until Yoko unleashed an unexpected screaming vocal over Berry's part. Chuck's reaction? A stunned expression that said it all. That single moment became infamous and often replayed as an example of how Yoko's avant-garde art didn't always land with traditional rock audiences. Perhaps the biggest myth, Yoko broke up the Beatles. In reality, cracks had been forming in the band for years, creative differences, business disputes, and personal growth. John himself admitted he was bored and done by the time Let It Be was filmed. While Yoko's presence may have accelerated existing tensions, blaming her entirely ignores the deeper issues that had been simmering long before she entered the scene. Sometimes history needs a villain, and Yoko became the easiest one to cast. Over the years, Yoko Ono has been both villainized and vindicated. Yes, she's made decisions that sparked outrage, but she's also preserved John's memory through activism, music, and art. She fought for peace, spoke against war, and stood by Lennon as his equal and collaborator. The truth is nuanced. Was she a disruptive force? Sometimes. Was she unfairly blamed? Often. Was she more than just John's wife? Absolutely. Yoko Ono remains one of the most polarizing figures in music history, but behind the noise lies a story of love, loss, power, and pain. The next time you hear Imagine, take a moment to reflect, not just on John Lennon, but on the complex woman who stood beside him. What do you think? Was Yoko misunderstood? or rightly criticized? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more rare Beatles insights and music history deep dives.